Hey, everybody.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a very special episode of the Burnout Brighter podcast/show. We're going to be talking about a game that we just saw during an E3 preview called Anuchard. And this is a game coming from Stellar Null, which are Indonesian developers working on their game. It looked pretty cool. So, Destiny, we just saw about 20 minutes of the game. We saw a dungeon, we saw some of the town. What were your initial thoughts about Anuchard?
I'm just going to be honest. I love art, right? So it was like looking into a box full of like precious jewels. Like it's so beautiful. And just talking to Rico and Benjamin as they were playing the game was like just very exciting to see because I love RPGs. I love old school RPGs, and this put me in like a nostalgic kind of coma as I watched them play it. I think the gameplay is really nice. I liked how eccentric it was and the new ideas that they brought. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And I also really like the idea that like they pulled from things that I used to play in my childhood. So it looks really good.
Yeah,
And it's a team of 3.
yeah, they were telling us about how there's only three of them working. They're an Indonesian developer, so they have access to resources and stuff, and they're going to be coming onto the show in a little while to talk to us about Indonesian game development and how that all works. But I think you're spot on, Destiny. When you said that the game looks like looking into like a box of jewels, I thought that was perfect because the designs, at least for a lot of the characters, are very angular, but they're also very bright, and it really does look like you're just looking at a bunch of rubies and sapphires. For anybody who isn't sure what this game is or can't tell from our little footage right here, it's an action RPG. What you're going to be doing is going around and saving the townspeople who, because the gods have turned their backs on them, have kind of almost like lost their souls, and your job is to help restore the town and restore everybody back to their former selves. You'll be doing that by you have a huge bell that's going to be your primary weapon. You have light attacks and heavy attacks. Rico was telling us about how they started talking about doing some sort of hammer weapon, and as the game kind of came together, they were like, you know what, let's use a bell. And I think that's super interesting. I've never really seen like just like a massive bell hammer being used as a weapon. Combat looks fluid. Something else that I really like that they told us, which got a good laugh out of both Destiny and I, is like they're really focusing on kinetic puzzles rather than puzzles that require a ton of thought. Which you guys know me. If you're a longtime listener of the show, I don't like to think. I'm not one about those thinking puzzles. So you'll have these balls that will kind of bounce around, and it's up to you to smack them in the right direction and manipulate them to be able to kind of unlock doors and stuff. I love this kind of puzzle solving because this, for me, it's kind of figuring out. I thought immediately back to like Pokemon Red and Blue when you had to slide on the ice to kind of figure out where you wanted to go. Those kinds of puzzles for me, I have a lot more fun with than me staring at a map for like 30 minutes being like, what do I do?
Yeah, it kind of disrupts the gameplay, especially if it's like an action RPG. I need to move. And I like the fact that it wasn't just push something here and pull something there. Like you actually use your weapon to like help solve the puzzles. What are
Pubbles,
puzzles?
the pubbles.
To help solve the puzzles, which I thought was like really unique and ingenious. Because I was trying to think of like any old RPG I'd ever played where you use your weapon to actually help you solve a puzzle. And I can't really remember any off the top of my head. That's not saying they don't exist. I
Yeah,
just can't remember.
it's
Yeah.
just interesting the way that they combine the movement with the weapons to be able to solve their puzzles, because you'll have stuff like Legend of Zelda where you just shoot the arrow and you hit the diamond and things light up and things happen, but like you have to manipulate things in a bit of a different way. What did you think about the combat itself, Destiny? How did, like, one of the things he said is like they were looking for kind of a way to make combat accessible and fun. What did you think of the combat?
I liked it. Like I said, I don't know why I can't talk today. Like I said, it really reminded me of like playing old school, like Zelda, A Link to the Past, where you have like a charge up and you also have light attacks with the same weapon. And I really like that because honestly, when there's too many weapons, I get confused on which one to use. And I always end up just using the first one I ever got. So I really liked that. I like the fact that like your weapon can also do special attacks and you can see like the visually see the sounds coming off the bell to do
Yeah,
some of the visual attacks. I thought that was really nice and I liked the graphics that they used for that and they kept with the same angular theme. So I thought that was really cool. It kind of brings the whole game together, and it's very cohesive.
Yeah, I agree. I think the combat looks like a lot of fun, especially because like if if you use your heavy attack in a space where there's no enemy, you'll go into a roll. So like and you'll be able to kind of use your attacks a little bit differently. I also like the way that they're using their healing system, which is basically like as you're running around the level and as you kind of break apart grass and different objects in the way, you'll get these little green orbs that will build up your what did they call it?
Oh my
Healing.
god, I don't
Oh my god,
remember.
it's like a healing podium. That is not the right way to describe it, but essentially, if you drop that down, you'll have regenerative healing rather than just something like a health potion, which is they wanted to rework it a little bit. Do you
I
remember?
liked Yes, and I like the fact that you only have to see it. Like, you can see it. You don't There's no, like, distance,
Yeah,
that comes into play. Like, as long as you see it and it's on your screen, it's basically healing you up, and I
yeah,
thought that was really cool.
I agree, and especially like they told us about later in the game, you'll be able to use it in different ways, like a turret or a shield, to be able to manipulate the things a little bit differently. I also really like the music. Their soundtrack is actually up on their website, so you can actually go listen to some of it. I think it suits the game very well. It's like very kind of like an 8-bit kind of ish style with a lot more going on. Dee, what did you think about the music? Because I know you're all about the art style, and I know you're all
I
about the
I
music.
am, but I also, like, artistically love music. So, I think, the music can make or break a game. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Hmm.
Like, so I really enjoyed the music. I think it fits it very well, and I feel like they were kind of inspired by their own culture because, like, they're Indonesian. So I
Hmm.
thought that was really, really nice. And what I wanted to talk about before, like, because I feel like I'm gonna forget, is the food,
Yes,
like the cooking and the recipes. So when the first dish popped up, I was like, man, like, I am hungry.
looks
Like,
delicious.
it looks so good.
Yeah, it
So I
does.
thought that was interesting. They didn't get too much into, like, the recipes, but I really am like, I want to see what that, like, does, because it seems so different. Everything else seems like it's going towards the flow. So I'm really interested in seeing, like, how the food upgrades affect your character and your weapon and your progression through the game.
Yeah, because essentially, as you play and as you kind of save these lost townspeople and they come back to town, they'll upgrade different ways. Like there will be, like Destiny said, a cook. There will be what was the other one? A carpenter.
A carpenter,
A
so you'll get an
carpenter.
axe.
Yeah, so you'll be able to use the different use the different upgrades in different ways. The food system reminded me a lot of Monster Hunter, where you'll pick different ingredients and they'll give you different stat bonuses and different things to do when you go into a dungeon, and whether they'll make you faster or stronger. We don't know exactly yet, but you'll be able to kind of use different ingredients to kind of specialize your meal. And they talked about being from Indonesia, and they wanted to represent their culture a little more, so they inserted a bunch of Indonesian style dishes. And like Destiny's saying, like graphically, like the way that it just looks incredible. And like I got hungry just looking at it. So I
I
thought that was
immediately thought of Ratatouille. I know
right.
that sounds silly, but that's what I thought of when I first saw the first dish. I was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, it looked delicious. I'm getting excited for this game. This was like the first one that we saw, so we're both excited to see what
Pretty
comes next.
hyped.
We know it's coming to Xbox. We know it's coming to PC um, later this year. So we are excited to be actually able to get our hands on it in just a little bit. Destiny, before we kind of close off here, do you have any parting thoughts about Anuchard?
I just kind of want to say something about Rico and Benjamin, who were the ones who hosted our meeting, and were on our interview. They are some of the nicest people that I have ever had the pleasure of talking to. Like, they were just so engaging. We were able to ask all kinds of questions. I accidentally interrupted things because I got excited, and, like, they were just so sweet. So please go out there. It's on wishlist on Steam.
Mhm.
Check it out, please. Like, put it on your list. One of the things that Rico was, like, talking about is he really wants his game to be successful, and I think it has amazing potential. So we just want to get the word out there, guys. Go look at the game, read about it. If you enjoyed old school RPGs, I really think you'll enjoy this game.
Yeah, and I think that's something that's really, really important. I never really understood how deeply wishlisting a game actually helps the developers. Please, 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 any games that we talk about this week or any games that you find on your own, if you are able to, for me, it was always like a wishlisting. Why it's not so important. It actually does a lot for the devs. So hop onto Steam, wishlist the game if you're interested in it, because I think, like Destiny said, it has incredible potential. Thank you again to Rico from Stellar Null, who had the pleasure of talking to us. And thank you again to Benjamin from Freedom Games, who, again, was playing the game for us and answered some questions for us as well. We had a wonderful time. We're going to have a lot more coming from Freedom Games this week, so
Stay
keep it locked.
tuned.
Get ready for the next one. E3 out. Peace out.
Out.